What is up, homies? Welcome back to another trailer reaction from Heroes Reforged. We are reacting to the very first trailer for Dune Part 2. If you want to see the uncut reactions for all the movies and shows we've been watching, check out our Patreon. There's a lot of stuff on there. We just started House of the Dragon, the Game of Thrones prequel series. We're also doing all the Indiana Jones movies. We're going to be doing Batman and Batman Returns in anticipation for The Flash. We're going to be doing Captain Marvel in anticipation for the Marvels. And most likely, we will do Dune Part 1. Maybe even 3D.
Yes.
Ooh, that would be a good watch.
I was just thinking that,
4K 3D
fellas.
Steelbook, baby.
Fellas, I'm like, I will come over to do that. And we got to be in to do that movie. I have the 3D Blu-ray as well. And like, y'all know, any of the space stuff, it's great. But like, it's a great 3D film. I think it just adds to like the appeal of what made that first Dune film so great and what makes Dune so great. The setting, the world building, you know, God, it's just so awesome, dude. The music.
Yeah.
Ooh, it was so good. I loved the first Dune. I am so stoked for this one.
Me too.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I think the first Dune, I only saw it once, but I remember leaving wanting more. I was just like, even though it was such a long movie, I was like, no, I need to see how this ends.
You and I saw it together.
It was crazy. Yeah, right. You and I went together, Adam, and we both left really excited for the next one. So
yeah,
you were like, I need to see these sandworms. That's what you said. You said, give me these sandworms now.
Give me
I gotta
them sandwormies, baby.
Yeah, we saw it in Dolby Cinema, and that looked amazing. And then I went and I caught the very last IMAX show, and that was breathtaking. So the fact that this new movie is all done in IMAX, I cannot wait to see.
So Augustine, you haven't even seen Dune Part 1 in 3D yet? You haven't seen it in 3D?
Not yet. I haven't seen it in
IMAX?
3D. Yeah.
Oh, dude.
I know.
Just wait.
I know.
Just wait.
That's for sure. Folks, join the Patreon because you're going to want to be in on that watch along.
Oh, yeah.
Because let me tell you right now, our homie Augustine, we just watched all the Indiana Jones movies with him. He had never seen them.
Never seen them.
And this fool made me love Indiana Jones more than ever. It's great. Join the Patreon.
Oh, man.
So fun. So fun. Okay.
Right,
I'm ready. Let's go.
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go.
It's breathtaking.
Oh, there are the famous
When you
dunes.
see sand here, imagine water. If you dive in, you can't reach the bottom.
You dive in.
Yes, it's called swimming.
I don't believe you.
I don't swim.
That's funny.
Cute.
In the shadows of Arrakis lie many secrets.
Let's go.
The darkest of them all may remain.
Hey, Flo.
The end of House Atreides.
Oh.
I didn't believe in revenge.
All right.
The music.
Dude, so sick.
What if
Come on.
Atreides were still alive?
Okay, Josh Brolin.
Elvis. Oh, my God.
What?
Is that Matt? That looked like Matt Smith almost.
It did.
Have you ever had a dream about your first ride?
Oh, my God.
Have you ever had a dream where you could do anything?
Oh, dude, he's going to ride the sandworm, isn't he?
I think so. He's calling the sandworm.
You got to put that in the trailer.
Oh, shit.
Oh, wow.
Way.
Wow.
No way.
Oh, no. That didn't go as planned.
Or did it? Oh, boy.
Nothing fancy.
I understand.
Oh, shit. No way.
Whoa.
You know,
Nothing fancy.
Javier's character too, Stilgar. He's so good in the first
So
movie because he's
good.
just so like blunt and I love it.
Oh, my God.
Hang 10, dude. Ride the worm, bro.
You will never lose people, Atreides.
I too would also fight an intergalactic war for Zendaya.
We gave them something to hope for.
May thy knife chip and shatter.
Oh, shit. I have like goosebumps.
Whoa.
I have
Dude.
goosebumps. Oh, my
Dude,
God.
it's incredible.
Great.
God
It
damn.
looks incredible.
God damn. Look at this cast.
I don't know if this is Denis Villeneuve's like masterwork or best
It
film.
might be.
But to me, it's easily Dune 1 and now Part 2. They're going to be my top of the list of my favorite Denis Villeneuve films. I think they are absolutely just like it's him firing on all cylinders and bringing to life a vision that I do believe he had when he first read the Dune book and was so enamored by it. And he's like bringing that vision to us, and it looks so good.
It would be insane if he ended up sticking with Dune for years to come and he kind of starts adapting more of the books. It would be, I mean, that's huge to have one director, because I mean, we've obviously had some directors stick around for several films of a franchise, like Peter Jackson and even George Lucas. Even though he didn't direct all of them, he's very hands-on and with a lot of them, and he did all the prequels. But to have Denis Villeneuve constantly bring the level of quality and artistry to these movies for every single iteration would be insane. Because I look at Sicario, I think the first Sicario movie is one of, like, it's in my top 10 favorite movies. But then the second one doesn't have Denis Villeneuve, and I think the quality just doesn't meet that level of the first movie. So I think it would be so tough to follow up with having a different director come in and do. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I think Denis Villeneuve just brings a quality to the movies, and it's not just the storytelling, it's also just the visual elements, and it's the visual effects, and it's how he works with Greg Fraser, who's the cinematographer on these movies, and everybody in between, from like in literally every department. Hans Zimmer, the music. There's such like a pristine quality to everything. It's unmatched.
It's Lord of the Rings, like you said, where it's like, where even if Peter Jackson is not involved with the Amazon show Rings of Power, you can feel that show is like trying to make something that is in conversation with the Peter Jackson films, that is paying homage to, that is respectful to, that is trying to capture some of that feel, even if it's new writers, new directors, you know, whatever. And that even goes down to like how Peter Jackson, the team he recruited, the team that he worked with, amazing, countless artists that brought their A game. I think Denis Villeneuve, you know, I'm just rewatching the trailer right now, and it's like,
me too.
It's that same level of like, it's two things. It's like you're saying, Adam, he's a phenomenal director. So when he's not directing something, you might feel that loss, I guess, but he's a great director. Secondly, it's all the artists that he's working with that did the first one and the second one. If that same group of artists don't continue to do a Dune franchise, a Dune television series, which I think they're working on.
They are,
which is maybe going to be centered around the women of the Dune universe. If they're not trying to do what Amazon did with Rings of Power, where they're like, okay, and the same sort of level of artistry and the same, you know, then I don't think Dune is something that I'm like, I don't want to see other people come in and be like, well, I want to see their take on the Dune universe. I'm like, no. This is the take. And I don't think the little that I know about like all the Dune books, and then after the author passed away, and then the Dune books that came afterwards, that were like some by his son and some by other people or whatever. I don't know if it's all worthwhile to like adapt, but it would be great if Denis Villeneuve could get to a few major things about the Dune story that have really stuck with people, namely how like even after Paul, like sort of like the whole Paul Atreides story and how his story ends, I think is something that Dune book fans like. He's not the good guy. He's like, he kind of says in this trailer, the way that his mom's like, we gave them hope, and he yells and he goes, that's not hope. The great thing, I think we've talked about this before, that Dune fans know is that the Paul Atreides savior character, this sort of white savior, because the character is supposed to kind of take that place, coming into this like group of like desert people and kind of leading them the way. Like, it's not all good to put all your hopes on the one person. This story is almost like the anti-Star Wars, the anti-chosen hero story, the anti-Harry Potter, where I think the Dune story message is supposed to be, it's not always good to pin all your hopes and dreams on a one person. They could become corrupted. It could lead to bad things. So if Denis Villeneuve and this team could eventually get to something like that, whether it's another Dune adaptation, because like the Dune story has like major time jumps too. I'm talking thousands of years after this Paul Atreides, like they keep going. And here's a fun little thing. Jason Momoa's character, Duncan Idaho, is apparently like cloned and cloned and cloned and cloned. So Duncan Idaho's in the whole thing. So I'm like, dude, get to that now while Momoa's still Momoa. Do a story where it's like 10,000 years after Dune parts 1 and 2, and then just have Jason Momoa be like, my man, like he's still in it. Like, playing the clone of the clone of the clone. I'm into that weird shit. I think that would be great. But I don't think great.
I don't think it's Matt Smith. I think it's actually Austin Butler, but he just looks like Matt Smith in some of the shots.
Elvis. He's playing the role that in the original 80s Dune adaptation, Sting played. Musician Sting played, who was like one of the Harkonnens like main assassin that they kind of send after Paul Atreides. So it's going to be basically Paul Atreides versus Elvis in this movie.
I'm glad you know all about this, Hector, because I am. This is the first movie's the only thing I know about Dune. That's all I know.
That's all you need.
But I will say that this movie feels like a blockbuster for this modern era. Like Absolutely. It feels like the same thing that Lord of the Rings did. It feels like the same thing that Star Wars did. The level of quality in the costumes, in the set design, in the acting, in everything. Everything seems like it's running at a 10, like absolutely pristine. And it just makes you want to be curious. It makes you curious, and it makes you want to dive into this whole world, which I think is a sign of a successful franchise, right? Like, there's no real point in any of these movies where you're just like, oh, well, I have those cups at home, or like, oh, I've seen that at Target, or, you know, like those kinds of things, or like the green screen's a little weird here. Everything seems like it's firing on all cylinders, and it does have like that grandiose blockbuster feel that makes you want to go to the biggest format possible, with the loudest sound possible, and just like really sit and enjoy it. So yeah, this is exciting. This is really cool. I'm really looking forward to it.
Even bigger than Blade Runner 2049, which at that point was like his biggest movie. And financially, it obviously kind of mimicked what the first Blade Runner did, where it didn't really have, it didn't sort of like, it didn't do what they predicted or expected it to do, because they thought Blade Runner was such a, you know, beloved movie. And it is, but it's a cult classic, and it kind of always will be. Yeah. And I think 2049, kind of the same thing. It became a cult classic in a lot of ways. But I think Dune, because of the scale and the scope, and because it is being compared to things like Star Trek and Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, I think it draws people in much more than something like Blade Runner 2049. Yeah. And like you're saying, the scale is so massive. You know, this second film is all shot IMAX. So it's just, it requires you to see it on the biggest possible screen you can find, which for us is probably going to be the IMAX at Universal or Burbank or something like that, depending on, you know, what format it's in. But yeah, and I that's what's exciting about movies like Dune, is they take the time and they put so much care into it. Like the fact that they used beige screens instead of green screens and blue screens because they didn't want it to affect the wrap on the characters and the color, and like they wanted the compositing to feel as clean as possible. That level of detail, which I'm sure VFX artists probably wanted to hang themselves for, because they're like, oh my God, this is horrendous.
But beige on beige? Yeah,
beige tough. On beige, but I think like it's super reflective of the quality of the movie. And I think movies like Dune, people look at those types of films and they say, we want more movies to look and feel like this. And sometimes people make those comments about not necessarily that Dune is a franchise, but it potentially could be a franchise. But I think everybody looks at movies like Dune, just like they did at Star Wars in the 70s, and we want, if you're going to make movies that are of this scope and scale, make it this good, quality-wise. But yeah, so the movie looks so amazing, and the quality and everything looks great. I can't wait to see it in IMAX, and I think it's just going to be another solid entry in Denis Villeneuve's filmography.
Oh, yeah.
Son of a bitch.
And to kind of go off of what you were saying, Adam, like the first film, according to Wikipedia at least, I just looked it up because I was curious. According to Wikipedia, I don't know if these numbers are accurate, but if they're close to it, but it says the budget was 165 mil, and the first movie made 402 million. So
that budget is smaller than Black Adam.
That's budgets, considering how gorgeous that first movie looks. But to me, that seems like it's profitable, but I know in this day and age, it feels like if a movie at this scale doesn't make $1 billion, I know the studio might be like, I guess audiences aren't into it, and we're not going to do a sequel. But thankfully, what I'm curious about is like the first one came out 2021. Also, wasn't it day and release HBO Max? Didn't they put it also on HBO Max?
I think there was a little bit of a delay. I don't think it was immediately. It might have been like 30 days or something.
Yeah, but they definitely were hyping up like, and now it's on HBO Max, so people can, which I wonder, I'm like, did that have any effect on the box office or not? The point is, 2021, now 2 years later, will there have been more people who like discovered it? Yeah. Will there be more hype set up around the sequel? Will the sequel make more money? In the same way that I feel like Spider-Verse also took a few years for people to like give it a shot and be like, oh, this is actually the best Spider-Man movie. Like this is genius. This is brilliant. I think that the sequels, plural, are going to they're going to be much more profitable than the first Spider-Verse movie. But again, it takes a few years for it to kind of find it's like television. You have to let the first season find its audience, the second season find its audience, and then be able to give it the support. So I'm really grateful that Warner Brothers said, yes, Denis, let's do part 2. At least let's finish out the adaptation of the first Dune book, part 1 and 2. And then from there, we'll see where we'll go. Like you're saying, it absolutely could be a franchise if they wanted. But I'm just so interested to see how audiences are going to respond to this one. I feel like it's going to be even bigger than the first one. So
I hope so. I really hope so, because this is the type of stuff I want to go to the movies for.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Bro.
But let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you've seen Dune Part 1, what did you love about it? Are you looking forward to the second film? Do you hope that Denis Villeneuve sticks around? Also, make sure you guys check out the Patreon. We will be doing a watch along of Dune Part 1 in 3D. That'll be a lot of fun. I can't wait to revisit that movie. Just right in anticipation for this new one. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Check that stuff out. Subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Bye.